Hey guys, welcome to our math lesson for today. So our learning target is I can add within 1,000 using place value by modeling or drawing. Now we know that adding means that we're combining things to make a larger total or to find something that is worth more. Remember, place value is the value that's assigned to each digit in a number. So the value is based on the place of the number. Now we've been looking at base 10 models that we've been using virtually. And then we, of course, know that we can take those base 10 models and we can create them into drawings. When we're working within 1,000, like adding 3-digit numbers together, drawing all is not an effective strategy anymore, so we need to move to something that is going to be more efficient for us. All right, we have also talked about that word, the word regrouping. Remember, regrouping means to combine that total into creating a new group. For example, if we have over 10 ones, we then have a group of 10, one group of 10. If we have 10 groups of 10, that is regrouped or reorganized into one group of 100, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to be on page 401 in our Ready Math Journal, Volume 2. There are 476 rocks and 148 minerals in a museum display. What is the total number of rocks and minerals in the display? I want you to retell this problem in your own words. Pause the video and retell this problem in your own words. All right, so we know that there are some things that people have found at the museum. There are some rocks and there are some minerals, right? Let's read again to see what it is that we need to solve. There are 476 rocks and 148 minerals in a museum display. What is the total number of rocks and minerals in the display? What do we want to figure out here? What are we trying to answer? Yes, the total number of rocks and minerals in the display. Now let's read again to see what information is important and can help us solve how many rocks and minerals are in the display. There are 476 rocks and 148 minerals in a museum display. What is the total number of rocks and minerals in the display? So what information is important here to help us solve how many rocks and minerals are in the display? It's important to know how many rocks there are, and it's important to know how many minerals there are. Now, this problem is giving us the parts and wanting us to find the whole, that whole total. So rocks and minerals together would create the total number of displayed at the museum. What operation are we going to use to find the whole total? We're going to use addition, aren't we? We're going to use the plus sign. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and write an equation to show how you would solve taking the rocks and the minerals and combining them together to find the total. All right, so we're going to have 476, and we're going to add using, showing that by using the plus sign, 148 to get our total number. So that's our missing part. So what are we going to do to find our missing part here? All right, we're going to add them together. We want to do it in an efficient way, right? So what I'm going to give you a chance to do is you can use the virtual base 10 blocks that I've posted on Google Classroom. You can use a drawing of base 10 blocks, or you can use another strategy that is efficient for you. Go ahead and solve this problem. When you're done, unpause the video and continue. All right, now what I want us to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to check this. We're going to look at some different ways that you could have solved this to help you better understand how to combine 3-digit numbers to find that new total. All right, so now let's look at page 402 at some of the strategies that you might have used to combine 476 and 148. Remember, yesterday we talked about different ways that we could write our equations. We could write our equations horizontally like Ms. Gaskins did when I was writing it out before you solved, or we can write it vertical like this. Remember, though, it's important to know the value of the digits in order to help us add. So this model here shows expanded form of the numbers. 476 is expanded into 4 hundreds plus 7 tens plus 6 ones. 148 is expanded into 100, 4 tens, and 8 ones. Then they combine their hundreds, their tens, and their ones. Remember, we talked about this week that you don't have to always combine your hundreds first, right? You could start with your ones, and then you could work ones, tens, hundreds. You could start with your tens, and then combine your ones and your hundreds, and you would still get the same total. But it's important for you to do it in an organized way. So I encourage you to either start with your hundreds or to start with your ones. So let's start by combining our ones first. 6 ones and 8 ones is 14 ones. 7 tens and 4 tens is 11 tens. 4 hundreds and 100 are 5 hundreds. So they just combined each place. All right, there's another way that we could model it. This is called a partial sum. So what they've done here is they started with their hundreds. 400 plus 100 is 500. 70 plus 40 is 110. 6 plus 8 is 14. So then they would combine the total value of their hundreds, their tens, and then their ones. All right, so our next model did the same thing with the partial sums. They just did it in the different order. They started with their ones this time. 6 plus 8 is 14. 70 plus 40 is 110. And then 400 plus 100 is 500. And they would combine that. Let's look a little bit closer because I'm noticing that when we're looking here, I see 11 tens, 14 ones, 110, 14, 110, 14. So I know that we're going to have some regrouping involved, so I want us to take a closer look at that, okay? All right, so let's go ahead now, and we're going to look at page 403. So number 1 says write the number of ones, tens, and hundreds. So in the number 14, how many ones are there? Yes, there are 14 ones. In 110, how many tens are there? Well, here if we're looking, we see 110, right? But if we want to take the whole number, 110, and regroup that number, those hundreds, into tens, how many groups of 10 are in 100? There are 10 tens in 100. So we can regroup that 100 back into tens and say 10 tens plus the 110 is 11 tens. Then we have 500, which equals how many hundreds? 5. All right, now it says that you can regroup when you have 10 or more ones or 10 or more tens. So remember, anytime we have 10 ones, we can regroup that as one group of 10. Remember that word regroup means a new way to organize it, okay? When we have 10 groups of 10, we know that that reorganizes into one group of 100. So here in 14, 14 has 1 10 and 4 ones. 110 has 100 and 1 10. 500 has 5 hundreds. This is helping us to break it apart to see how many hundreds and tens we have in each place. Look at problem 2. Write the total number of ones, tens, and hundreds after regrouping. So in 14, we had 1 10 and 4 ones. In 110, we have 100 and 1 10. So here, we don't have any ones, any extra ones besides this, the 4 ones here. Now we did have some tens, one group of 10 from the 14, so we can combine the one group of 10 from the 14 and the one group of 10 from the 110 to show that we have 2 groups of 10. Then we have 500 from 500, and we also have our 100 from 110 that we can't forget about. So 500 plus 100 is 600. So let's answer that question. Our question was, what is the total number of rocks and minerals in the display? The total number of rocks and minerals in the display is 624. Don't forget that we need to answer that question. 624 fish? 624 cookies? No. 624 minerals in the display. Now let's look at number 4. Why should you get the same total when you use different strategies to find 476 plus 148? Go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to talk with that question out loud to someone, a stuffed animal, a pet, a sibling, a parent, someone. Talk this question out loud with them. All right, so let's talk about that. Why should we get the same total when we use different strategies when we're adding numbers together? When we're combining those totals, it doesn't really matter the way that we combine them as long as we've combined the whole number, right? Now, if we leave a part of that number out, we'll of course get a incorrect total. But as long as we add all of those numbers together, we can do it different ways and still get that same total. All right, remember, so our reflect question, now that we've had some more practice with models and pictures, you get to reflect on what strategy you would like to use, okay? So I'm showing you a lot of different ways, but you have to find the one that works best for you. So on this reflect part, this helps you to reflect and decide what strategy works best for you, okay? All right, now we are on page 404. Let's look at number 6. What is 649 plus 184? Show your work. So let's think about what we want to do. How do we want to solve this problem? Do we want to solve it with a model or with a drawing? What do you think? All right, let's solve it with a model. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these numbers and we're going to write them in expanded form. First, I'm going to actually write this vertical so that I can better see expanded form and be able to have it more organized here, okay? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at that first number, 649, and we are going to make it in expanded form, okay? So let's go ahead and let's talk about 649. How many hundreds are in 649? There are 6 hundreds, so it has the value of 600. Okay, then we're going to add our tens to that hundred. So what's the value of 4 tens? The value of 4 tens is 40. And the value of 9 ones is 9. Okay? Right now what we're going to do is we are going to add our write expanded form for the number 184. How many hundreds are in 184? There is 100. There are 8 tens. What's the value of 8 tens? 80. And then there are 4 ones. Okay? So now I can easily see this, and we will combine each place. All right, now let's go ahead and combine each place. I'm going to start by combining my ones here. So 9 ones plus 4 ones is 13. I know that because 9 plus 1 equals 10 plus 3 more is 13. Then I'm going to combine my tens. 80 plus 40. Well, I know that 8 plus 4 is 12. So 80 plus 40 is 120. Then I'm going to combine my hundreds. 600 plus 100 is 700. Here I'm looking at my numbers 13 and my number 120, and I'm noticing that these numbers have more digits than the value of that place that I added. So I know, like in 13 here, that's not just ones anymore. I have now regrouped 13 ones into one group of 10 and 3 ones. I know that 120 is no longer just tens and ones. I now realize that I had to regroup 10 groups of 10 to create one group of 100 here. So when I'm adding together 700 plus 120 plus 13, I can't forget about those hundreds and those tens that have been regrouped. That's why I think it's helpful to start with our ones place. That way, if there is regrouping, that you don't forget to add a place, okay? So when we have 13, how many ones do we have? We have 3 ones, don't we? Then we can combine our tens. 1 10 plus 2 tens is 3 tens that has the value of 30. And then we can combine our hundreds. 100 plus 700 is 800. So 800 plus 30 plus 3 has the value of 833. Okay? All right, now number 4. Find the sum, show your work. 427 plus 297. How would you like to solve this problem? Would you like to use a model? Would you like to draw a picture? What model would you like to use? For this one, I'm going to try partial sum. With partial sum, it is easier, more efficient to start with our hundreds. So let's add our hundreds. 400 plus 200 has the value of 600. It's important to make sure that you stay organized, especially when you're writing the places of your numbers and you're trying to combine those. All right, 2 tens plus 9 tens. So that would be 20 plus 90 would be 110. And then 7 plus 7, that's a double fact. That is 14. Then we can combine those partial sums. So we can combine here. We can combine our hundreds. We have 600 and 100 to create 700. We can combine one group of 10 plus another group of 10 to create two groups of 10. And then we have 4 ones. So 427 plus 297 equals a total of 724. All right, now you are going to answer question number 8. You're going to answer question number 8 on your own. When you're done, you may unpause the video and check. All right, so we're going to add 375 plus 545. We are going to use the base 10 blocks for this one. All right, so I am going to make the number 375. All right, now I'm going to add to that 545. So I need to add 500s. 1. All right, then I need to add 4 10s. And 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now I'm going to combine starting with But remember, I could combine 10 groups of 10 hundreds. Then I can combine my ones. Remember, these ones regrouped to make one group of 10. We have 920. We have no ones because we didn't have any more ones than 10 ones. And remember, 10 ones can be regrouped or reorganized as one group of 10. So for the problem, 375 plus 545, you should have gotten the total of 920. I hope that by seeing all these different ways to model these problems, it is helping you to see and understand how to add 3-digit numbers.